Somewhere this month, a homeowner is opening a letter from their HOA or condo board with one word in the subject line that changes everything. Assessment. Not a fee. Not a fine. A bill, sometimes for thousands of dollars, sometimes for tens of thousands, for a repair most owners never saw coming. One condo owner, describing a proposed $20 million project, about $200,000 per unit, put it about as plainly as it gets. I feel as though I am going into this blind. That's a real public post. And understanding it starts with what these documents actually are. Quick definition, because boards rarely give you one. A special assessment is a one-time, or installment, charge to owners, separate from your regular dues, usually tied to one specific project or funding shortfall. It is not the same thing as your dues going up. Dues increases are ongoing. Special assessments are usually tied to one identified need. A roof, a seawall, elevators, siding, sometimes several bundled together. Almost every special assessment traces back to one document most owners have never actually read: the reserve study. A reserve study is a specialist's forecast. It looks at your building's major shared components: roof, siding, paving, elevators, plumbing, estimates how much life each has left, and recommends how much money the association should be setting aside to replace them on schedule. Here's the part almost nobody explains. A reserve study is a forecast, not a bill. It's built on assumptions. And, this is the uncomfortable part, some associations get a reserve study done and then just don't follow its recommendations. For years. One Massachusetts owner described exactly that. A reserve study more than a decade old, never acted on. Then a large assessment landing all at once. Their words: "I'm being asked to pay for years of deferred maintenance." That's not a rare story. It's close to the most common pattern in the public record. You'll see this term constantly: percent funded. Here's what it actually means, and, just as important, what it doesn't. Percent funded is the share of the reserve study's own ideal target balance your association currently holds. It's a real, useful number. It is not a safety score. A high percentage lowers the risk of a surprise assessment. It does not eliminate it. One Florida owner asked a completely fair question publicly. If we're fully funded, does that mean this can't happen to us? Open, short answer. No, not automatically. Fully funded reflects assumptions made at one point in time. Costs and timelines can still move after that. On the other end, one 7-unit association went 17% funded, with no reserve study at all for 8 years. When the study finally landed, the bill was roughly $8,230 per owner. The lesson isn't 17% bad, 60% good. It's ask when the study was last updated, not just what the number currently says. That covers what these documents actually are. Now what you can check yourself: if you take one thing away, take these 3 checks. 1. Is this project already scoped, or still an estimate? A finished bid and a rough contingency estimate are very different levels of certainty, even when a letter presents them the same way. 2. Does the number match anything you were told before? Compare the notice to whatever was said at the last annual meeting. If they don't match, that's not proof of anything wrong. It's just a specific, fair question to ask. 3. Was there an actual noticed vote? One recent public thread described a roughly 300-home community where a special assessment went out with, in the poster's own words, the process, there wasn't one. A reply to that post called it a procedural defect. Open. Whether that applies to your situation is a question for your governing documents and, if it matters, an attorney, not something to guess from a video. The working kit is linked below, with a no-cost waitlist for board members.